Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So yesterday, confab with President, again, Trump, as well as Sam Altman, OpenAI, and Larry Ellison from Oracle, and Masayoshi Son of SoftBank, not to be confused with Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder of Bitcoin, and not to be confused with Kobayashi, who is the competitive eater. I know, Amy, since you're into competitive eaters. So we had Masayoshi, Larry Ellison, and Sam Altman talking about AI infrastructure. Big deal. And one of the things, it was interesting, one of the things that Trump prompted was for both Altman and Ellison to talk a little bit about the prospect that AI provides for curing diseases. So before we get to that, Sam Altman, back in a Fox News Sunday interview he gave last month, Shannon Bream, talking about the very issue that they were addressing yesterday, which is the need to stay ahead on infrastructure in this race against the Chinese Communist Party, in particular, stay ahead on the infrastructure required for AI development.
I think infrastructure in the United States is super important. AI is a little bit different than other kinds of software in that it requires massive amounts of infrastructure, power, computer chips, data centers, and we need to build that here. And we need to be able to have the best AI infrastructure in the world to be able to lead with the technology and the capabilities. I believe President-elect Trump will be very good at that. Look forward to working with his administration on it. It does seem to us like this is going to be very important. It does seem like this will be one of these unusually important moments in the history of technology. And we very much believe that the United States and our allies need to lead this.
You mentioned what it takes: land, electricity, water, cooling, the heat that comes from these productions. There are communities that are raising concerns about that. They are worried about the impact on their lives.
First of all, we are making enormous efficiency gains. And so this idea that, you need all the energy on Earth probably won't be true. One thing we hear again and again is some communities don't want data centers or chip fab facilities or new power plants, and some really do. And I think the United States is a gigantic country, and there will be plenty of room to do this.
Well, the room they're doing it right now under this new entity called Stargate is in Texas. And
it's fascinating.
Talking about upwards of a $500 million infrastructure development deal that would include backing by the federal government. Anyway, back to the disease piece, because this may be the most interesting development, a potential development. Altman talked a little bit about it, and then Larry Ellison. By the way, Larry Ellison looks pretty good for 80. I think he's had some work done.
You think? He's beyond Botoxing, but he really explained, what these, they're going to build 10 of these 500,000 square foot facilities to focus on the AI healthcare aspect of it. And I love it. Fighting cancer. I mean, this is actually something that could stop a disease that is killing thousands of Americans every hour.
Sam Altman first.
I believe that as this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate. We will be amazed at how quickly we're curing this cancer and that one and heart disease, and what this will do for the ability to deliver very high quality healthcare, the costs, but really to cure the diseases at a rapid rate, I think will be among the most important things this technology does.
And then Ellison picked up discussing the prospect of a cancer vaccines and a little bit more general detail. I mean, this is predictive. This is no guarantee,
right,
just so we understand.
Doctors.
But the idea of what the technology can do in terms of expediting something akin to a cancer vaccine
is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers. Cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. Mm-hmm. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours.
Well, since Biden couldn't cure cancer, I guess we're going to have to rely on Ellison and Altman and the AI boys to do so. For more on this, please be joined by Steve Moore, economist, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again, co-authored with Art Laffer. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Great to be with you. By the way, it's balmy 14 degrees here in Washington, D.C. So, I mean, you're used to that in Chicago. We're not used to that here south in D.C. So, you know, and it's been like this for the last 5 days. So it's been freezing cold, and we got through the inauguration. Dan, look, I love the aspiration of what Sam Altman is talking about. It's amazing, and the future is so rich with incredible possibilities. But I don't want the government spending money on this stuff. That's where I draw the line. And when they're talking about $500 billion for quote infrastructure, my antenna go up. Is that going to be more CHIPS Acts and things like that? I don't want that. I don't want the government involved in this stuff. And by the way, almost all the infrastructure can be built privately and should be built privately. Politicians in Washington and government bureaucrats have no idea how to invest money. So I love everything that they're talking about how incredibly exciting the future is. But I'm very nervous about massive government investment because it never seems to work out. We have incredibly sophisticated capital markets. That's one of the things that's made America the richest country in the world. And all of this investment should be done privately, not publicly. That's my view.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you said it, so then I didn't have to.
And I think we're on the same page there.
Okay. So wait.
Look at the chip. Remember, $300 billion for the CHIPS Act.
Yeah.
How many chips were built with that money? It all went to Intel. Intel's practically bankrupt. Meanwhile, you've got NVIDIA, which is going through the roof and inventing all sorts of exciting things, and they didn't get any of the money. So the government seems to give the money to the worst actors.
Well, then I assume you're not on board for Trump's sort of trial ballooning the idea of a public-private joint venture to buy TikTok.
No. Oh, I don't favor that. I don't. First of all, the last thing we need is the government owning social media platforms. You know, I thought Trump gave a great inauguration speech, and he talked about the fact that he would be a guardian of free speech. That you get into trouble when the government is owning the media outlets. I mean, that's what happened in the Soviet Union. They own the media. They control the media. So that is a bad idea. I'm not. What say you?
Yeah. Another sort of no-brainer. I think Trump is, more sort of playing geopolitical chess with Xi on this, but I still, yes, if it got to a point where there was actual serious consideration of doing something like that, no, not a good idea.
I don't understand. Yeah, the thing I don't understand about this, and I don't understand the national security concerns about TikTok, but right. I will say this, and I don't know, are you Amy, on TikTok?
Well, I was there to watch a bunch of teenagers when their TikTok went blank, and the look on their faces. I mean, it was almost as if they needed counseling right away. And one teenager's like, it's muscle memory. I can't stop. I can't stop clicking on the app.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, it was 3 hours,
story.
and then all of a sudden it came back, and everybody was happy again. So,
all right. Well, look,
I'm not on TikTok, but I know people who are.
Yeah, look, I'm not in favor of kids spending, all day looking at their cell phone and playing games and doing that. But it's a free country, and when you've got 140 million Americans who are using TikTok. My wife loves TikTok. She loves the gardening videos and the financial advice and the funny
Chinese
videos.
propaganda.
I just don't understand how that's a threat to our national security.
I know. I don't either. For the life of me, I cannot figure that out.
I wanted to get to a couple of other economic matters. Steve, Trump had this to say about tariffs on our northern and southern neighbors effective February 1, he's thinking.
It's bad precedent, obviously.
Where are you thinking on tariffs on Mexico, given these actions you're signing on the border?
Well, we're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people. Canada's a very bad abuser also. Vast numbers of people to come in and fentanyl to come in.
When do you think you would enact those?
I think February 1st.
Are you planning on giving notice of that?
I think we'll do it February 1st.
Stephen?
Well, we've had this discussion many, many, many times, Dan,
Yes.
and over the last 8 years. And look, I'm a free trader. You're a free trader. Amy, I think you're a free trader. But the fact is that Trump does use the threat of tariffs as a negotiating tactic, and it has worked. And I think in this case, look, it's a dangerous game he's playing because you don't want to get into these massive trade wars. But look, we cannot continue to allow all of these drugs in the United States. It's one of the leading killers of our youth is fentanyl and these other illegal drugs. And the drug cartels run rampant in Mexico. And Trump is saying, look, you get those, you help us keep these drugs out of the United States, or we're going to whack you with a tariff. And I believe, and Dan, you can talk to me in the next 3 months about this, I believe the Mexican government will start to be cooperative here and keep and confront these cartels, because we can't live with this, literally and figuratively. We've got to keep these illegal drugs out of the country.
That could be a positive front if you're right that he's able to use that as a cudgel to get more compliance in terms of border security, both north and south. But on the unequivocal good news front, we do have Trump taking aim at that global corporate tax regime that the Biden administration signed on to. That's a done deal. That's a dead deal now. Yeah.
Look, if you look at the 150 to 200 executive orders, they are amazing. I mean, we're not going to be involved we're getting out of the Paris Climate Accord again, which is only benefits to China, the one country that pollutes the most. We are going to have, as you just said, we're going to get America out of a lot of the global minimum tax, which was Janet Yellen's wonderful idea that would jack up taxes everywhere. We're getting rid of. Are you ready for this, Amy? No more electric vehicle mandate. You don't have to buy an electric vehicle. You can buy whatever car you want.
Woohoo! Freedom on the roadways. Thank you.
Yeah, but the thing is, these are the things that we've been talking about week after week after week on this show for the last 4 years, Dan. And you should be doing, cartwheels. I mean, these are amazing declarations of limiting the power of government. I love what he said in his speech about, we are going to be a free speech administration, and free speech has been under assault for the last 4 years. So I'm very excited about this stuff. How about requiring federal employees to show up for 40 hours a week?
Yes. Another one of the 78 executive orders he reversed from Biden. But already in 36 hours, I feel like he has done more than Biden did in 4 years.
I've been saying exactly the same thing.
It's hard to keep up.
And it is hard to keep up, and he is just getting started. Now, he's going to do some things we don't like, Dan. I know, and we have to be his conscience. but most of the stuff is pro-business, pro-America. I love this one, Amy. Have you seen his executive order he issued yesterday, that all of the embassies around the world and all the government buildings, federal government buildings, will only fly one flag, and that will be the American flag, not the gay pride parade, not the Black Lives Matter parade, just the Stars and Stripes forever.
Oh, here in Illinois, we have the Palestinian flag flying sometimes, and
it's ridiculous.
all the 5 different LGBTQ plus flags. So yeah, Dan mentioned that earlier. So.
Yeah, no, it's no. I mean, look, it's been an appropriately dizzying pace, and let's keep it up. If he's got the stamina, I do.
I know you're a tough grader.
What's that?
I know you're a tough grader. What grade do you give him so far, Trump?
Oh, I think he's in the A minus, B plus, A minus range. You gotta give him room to grow.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I don't think you ever gave a politician an A minus.
No, but look, again,
I give him
it's
an A plus.
It's also It's also doing what the same thing he did in the first term, doing or attempting to do exactly those things that you promised, and that's really important.
What do you think about that pardon of the drug? I don't really know the story. This drug guy who got
Russ Albrecht. Yeah, Albrecht.
Deserve a pardon? I don't know.
Commutation, which is what happened. Yes, commutation. Okay. Yeah. That made libertarian world very happy. But there was, much like the J6, we just talked to Andy McCarthy about that. There was some corruption in the prosecution of Albrecht, and I think Trump intervened appropriately. Also, by the way, he promised to do so, and he delivered on day one, just as he said. So
now he's going to not tax tips.
Can I mention one other quick thing? I know there were some people who did criminal acts on January 6th, but the fact is that there were hundreds and hundreds of people who never even went in the Capitol, that were simply exercising their constitutional rights and were put in jail. And it is, thank God these people are out of jail, and I have friends who were improperly put in prison and lost everything. So that was fantastic that he pardoned those folks.
Stephen Moore, economist, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity. Again, it's underway, co-authored with Art Laffer. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Bye.
Have a great week. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.